So my wife, Alyssa, is allergic to nickel. She has a nickel allergy. It's something that her family discovered when she was a baby. It turns out that some baby clothes, onesies and the like, the little snaps that they have on them have a little bit of the metal nickel in them, which caused a reaction for her. We wondered if this might be true for our baby as well. Of course, the joke that we make in our household is that Alyssa is allergic to cheap jewelry. You cannot pass the cheap stuff off on her and pretend that it's the real thing. Only the best will do. And I think that is true as well with the gift of the gospel. And today we're going to discover how. Now let's take a minute and discuss something together in your group. If you are wearing a piece of jewelry today, or if you have a favorite piece of jewelry, you don't have to be wearing it today. What is it? What is it made of? And where did you get it? Now, I know that for maybe some of the guys in your group, this might be an easy discussion because you might not have any, or you might have one piece of jewelry that you wear every day. So by definition, it's going to be your favorite. But surely somebody in your group has something to share here. Share something in your group about that favorite charm bracelet that you got from your granddaughter, or the ring that you wear, or the necklace that's a family heirloom. Share in your groups, what is that piece of jewelry? What is it made of? And what's the story? What's the story of how it came to you? Now, this year in our community groups, all of our Bible lessons are going to be coming from the same place. They are all going to be drawn from the New Testament letter called First Thessalonians. In fact, the series that we're going to be doing together is called Dynamic Duos, and each lesson is going to highlight a place in First Thessalonians that shows us how two things become better or more powerful when they're put together. A dynamic duo. And I'm hoping that maybe that discussion we just had about jewelry might help us to see this first dynamic duo from 1 Thessalonians. It comes from 1 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 8. And that verse says, "So deeply do we care for you, that we are determined to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you have become very dear to us." And maybe in that verse you might have noticed that there's two things that are brought together in this verse and shown to be a dynamic duo of sorts. What that verse is saying is that the gospel and you are a package deal. The gospel and you are a dynamic duo. The gospel and you are best shared together. Isn't that what Paul and Silas and Timothy, the three co-authors of the letter of 1 Thessalonians, are saying in that verse? Paul and Silas and Timothy, they were missionaries to this northern Greek city called Thessalonica. And what they're saying in this chapter is, when we came to be missionaries with you, we didn't just share with you the word about Jesus. We didn't just share the gospel in word only. We opened up our hearts to you, our lives to you. We formed relationships with you. We made friendships. We worked night and day in your presence. We shared our lives with you. And because we shared not just the gospel, but also our own selves, that's how you can know how deeply we care about you. You can know how much we care because we shared not just the word about Jesus, but also our own lives too. It's kind of like that jewelry discussion we were having a moment ago. For most of us, if we have a special ring or necklace or something that's really important to us, usually what makes that thing special to us is not just one thing, it's actually two things about that piece of jewelry. So on the one hand, one of the reasons that a piece of jewelry might be special to us is because it has value in and of itself. jewelry made of gold or a diamond ring, that has intrinsic value. A diamond ring is costly. It's made of costly materials. Gold is a precious metal. It's pure and refined. And if you were just going along the street and you saw a diamond ring, you wouldn't just toss it to the side because it has intrinsic value. It is valuable in and of itself. And isn't that what the gospel is also? The gospel in and of itself, all on its own, is precious and it's costly. It is valuable all by itself. In fact, Philippians talks about the surpassing value or the surpassing worth of simply knowing Jesus Christ. So the gospel as a thing unto itself, like a diamond, like the purest gold, like the costliest precious stones, the gospel in and of itself is truly precious. It was extremely costly for Jesus to give this gift to us. And that's one reason we care about it. But for many of us, when we think about a ring that's special to us or a necklace, it's not just what it's made of or what it is in and of itself that makes it special. It's also where it came from. So when we have a ring and it represents a relationship, or when we have some family heirloom and it reminds us of a family, when jewelry is symbolic of someone's love for you, that makes it special in its own way, even more special because of where it came from. And it's like that with the gospel too. When the gospel is shared not just in and of itself, but along with your own life, your relationship, your love for someone, that's what's going to make it truly, truly powerful. So the next and final thing I want you to discuss in your groups together, think back to when you first heard the good news about Jesus. How did that good news come to you? Was somebody else involved in that who shared not just the gospel with you, but actually shared of their own life too? And what sort of difference did that make? And what are some ways that you and I can take this dynamic duo, the gospel and you, and put it into practice in our lives? Are there ways that you can share not just the gospel, but your own self with the people who are in your life? And if you do, how might that show them how much you care? Let's discuss this together as a group. Well, as we wrap up this devotional and we get ready for a new season of community groups this year, let's continue to look for ways that we can share not only the gospel, but also of our own selves with the people in our lives. And maybe even this group that you're in can be a place where you can share of yourself in relationship with others so that the people in your group can remember and understand the gospel a little more each day. God bless you as you spend time in these groups and work together to make his precious gift known to the world. And we'll see you next time.